Welcome again, every people. This is Inside the PFL, Season 7, Week 3. I am your former champion, El Zubador, Joe. Joined half as ever as I usually am, although this is the first appearance this season. Why don't you introduce yourself, Mr. Guest? Mr. Mainstay, I guess.
What's up? It's your boy Thomas back in the action.
Thomas back from being a busy boy, and
Yes.
here to comment on the Week 3 action. I gotta say, Thomas, Week 3 was a fucking roller coaster, and why don't you... what is your opinion on Week 3?
It was a shitstorm. It's always a shitstorm, but no. Actually, it was interesting, I gotta say. There are some interesting victories, some interesting tactics. Unburdened is a monster. Yeah, it's, I don't know, man. It's crazy out here. It's the Wild West, it seems like.
Let's start things off here, I believe, then, because, of course, no Manny means no weekend observation. So, we may as well just give up on weekend observations at this point. Fuck it. First match of the week here. Mario getting the +1 over Garrison here. This was... I thought Mario was fucked pretty early into the match because he had two things to deal with Scarm. He had the old Starmie, who got pursuit trapped, and this is one of those things, Thomas, maybe it's just me, I often forget pursuit is a thing.
I don't. It's just that I always contemplate it and then go, nah, I'm never gonna do that. And then I never bring it, even though I really should.
So Starmie got taken out of action fairly early by Alolan Muck getting, pursuing it, and then me and Mario were like, oh yeah, that's right. And then the other thing to deal with Skarmory, which would have been Electros, who was also putting in some pretty decent work at the beginning of the match.
Mario's been using that Pokemon rather efficiently. Props to him.
I think Electros is honestly one of the... It's a bit of a wild card, and with no weaknesses to it, I keep saying, especially when you can run both physical and special sets on it, and it's a bevy of moves available to you. You've always going to have... There's going to be a Drain Punch or a Giga Drain. You always got to be wary about that, and Dragon Tail used a good effect this time, too. It's a good mon.
He's really been using it efficiently. I really like what he's been doing with it. But very quickly, back to the pursuit trapping thing. Pursuit is a commonly run move on Alolan Muck. The set is Poison Jab, Pursuit, like Gunk Shot maybe, Fire Blast maybe, Recycle. These are all common moves on a Muck.
No, I always think it's like the Shadow Sneak set. And
Shadow Sneak too, but...
if they're feeling saucy, maybe a Curse set or something.
No. I'm telling you.
But then
those are very commonly brought moves. Pursuit,
but then Alolan Muck exploded.
I mean, you can't always account for that, but like, explosion is a real thing.
It's one of those things where if it's available, may as well. Sometimes you just slap that shit on there, and again, to good effect. Like 5 turns in, Mario's down 2 very important Pokemon, to where I didn't think he would be able to get past Skarmory, but the chips fall in such a way that Mario basically had to win his match to hit. He had to hit a Stone Edge to win his match, pretty much, which is what he did with, I believe it was a Scarfed Mamoswine against Charizard, and then at that point, Skarmory couldn't do anything to Scizor because it had Roost, because it had the Roost kit, and it was just, I mean, props to Garrison for at least being like, I can't win this match, and just hitting Brave Bird until he died, because sometimes, you just... You no need to hang on, when it's clear that it's over. Yeah.
That's very honorable. Garrison would make a good samurai.
Unlike some other people later this week here. But Mario got a good win. He's the only person 3-0 this week here. Everybody else who was top of the pops lost, which we will move on to here. The very next match, actually, included one of these where I gotta say, I mean, it shouldn't really be a surprise. I mean, we shit on Mike so much, but he's actually a pretty competent battler.
Oh, well, I mean, shitting on Mike is just like, that's a family thing for me. That's not even to me. That's like not even on purpose most of the time.
I must have no right to shit on Mike, because with Manny it's always a trash talk thing, and with you and Mario, your family, so I just shit on Mike for no reason, pretty much.
Well, you can shit on him by association. It's okay.
Mario likes to say we're like 8th cousins or something, so fuck it, whatever.
Yeah. You're good. You're good.
So, the big thing with this match for me, Miltank is out first, and it's not exactly very clear, but I don't know what Manny was trying to do, really. Like, he was running, I believe, either Scarf Coco, Scarf or Specs Coco, to get beyond whatever Mike might have brought that was Scarf to get beyond, probably maybe Flagon or something. Kept switching kind of between Coco and Gligar, and neither were really doing a ton to Miltank because it had leftovers, it had Milk Drink. It was running a Chansey set, basically, like Seismic Toss, Heal Bell.
Well, his whatchamacallit his Cresselia had leftovers, so I forget what his Milk Tank had. I'm checking right now. I think a big play was burning the Gligar early.
That too, that also helped.
Because that chip damage was extremely reliable. And then he's running this U-turn Volt Switch core with Gligar and Coco, and while it just chunked Milk Tank for like 50%, he's got Milk Drink to bring it right back up, and U-turn's only going to do 4%, and he's going to take so much damage from Rocky Helmet that
that's what it was, Rocky Helmet.
He's not really net gaining here. And then he can just come in with Seismic Toss, and then he's forced to click Earthquake because he can't pivot out now, and then he just dies to burn. The Earthquake does, 9%. A stab Earthquake just did 9% to a Milk Tank.
I feel like it kind of, not exactly shut him down, but it was like he didn't want to send in anything else against Miltank. He was playing a really weird game where he only wanted to use Coco and Gligar at the beginning, and then ended up losing at least Gligar. And then at that point, he had nothing to stop Z Electric, which is exactly what happened.
Oh, yeah. In the electric terrain, no less.
Yeah, that too. That was another thing. So that made Registeel a complete non-factor. That was the only thing that was going to want to take that Z Thunderbolt, and then an Aura Sphere right after made short work of it. It was tough. It was interesting that it seemed like either Manny was thrown off or he didn't have the tactics that he needed to kind of get around everything.
Well, I think he should have expected the Z Electric. It would have hit hard in the electric terrain.
Oh, yeah,
so
definitely.
Why he didn't try to play Gligar a little differently to preserve it was beyond me. And then also, looking at this match, the Moonblast against Gyarados just barely keeping it alive. While it might have just saved, it might have only just given Mike, one more in his differential. It was still a kind of big play, I feel like.
Yeah. And man, those 1% things, they're a motherfucker, let me tell you.
Oh my god, it's getting ridiculous. It was 4 this week. I'm over it. And then, speaking of ridiculous things, the Analytic Hyper Beam.
I thought that was great. Mario and I have had the conversation a lot about, was it Analytic or was it Adaptability?
I think it was Analytic.
Oh my god, either way, that's no joke. That's something... Porygon Z with a fucking Adaptability 2x stab modifier, Hyper Beam. With specs, what do you... I mean, obviously a Ghost type is what you do, but...
Yeah, man. I don't know. It was scary. I saw that and was like, oh my sweet Jesus. It got him a
Mike
kill.
was right. He's happy that it's a good thing that he fucking got out of there, because there was no way that he was gonna survive it with whatever he had in at that point. So it's, Manny scratching and clawing. Yeah, Manny scratching and clawing.
If it was Gen 1, Mike would have been in a very bad situation. He might have actually lost, to be honest with you.
There's no recharge Hyper Beams,
yeah,
motherfucker.
Dude. Gen 1 was a spooky time, let me tell you. But, yeah, that thing ripped into Cresselia, which I'm assuming was a special defensive wall, because it definitely wasn't Blissey.
Mike fucked up his Cresselia set, because I was telling him, you don't have anything doing special defense right now, so put special defense into Cresselia. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to put everything into special attack because I'm not bringing Trick Room. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? What's wrong with you?
The classic Mike, I'm not going to listen strategy. I love it. I love it. It's a classic. You gotta love the classics.
I mean, even in victory, Mike does trip up. Oh well. Next up, we've got M1 getting the victory over Rob here in a match that took, no lie, Thomas, probably about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I only watched part of it. I mean, I watched the replay, but I think I only live watched a small portion of it and then just dipped. I was like, I'm not dealing with this. No, thank you.
This is one of those things where one of a big topic of discussion this week being the timer. M1 was very indecisive because I was in Discord with him for a little bit, and I managed to drive from my house about 20 minutes into Scranton to go pick up my sister from the bus stop, and the battle was still going on after it had been going on for about 20 minutes already at that point.
Can we talk about how we let M1 get Zapdos, Zydoge, and Magirna, and Meloetta, and nobody's saying a damn word about this? How did that happen? I didn't even know that. That's kind of some horse shit, I gotta be honest with you here.
You don't have to battle him, or do you? I don't know. I actually gotta check your...
I hope not, because that's...
Your Conference Cup
That's
games.
ridiculous. That is garbage.
It's a scary team. I'm not,
team.
like... and, I mean, though, I thought that Rob with Mega Venusaur, I didn't know what M1 was gonna do to get around it, because it was one of those things where he kept trying to, like, force... Like, obviously when Meloetta comes in, it's a Psychic type. It's going to have a Psychic move. Mega Venusaur, obviously, switch into something else.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to happen there. And then it dies to Toxic and stuff. And finally, like, he had to Bandit Outrage to get rid of it.
Yeah. I do not like Rob's play of going into Sylveon in front of the Zydoge. Thousand Arrows is 100% the spam move. Not Outrage, not any type of Dragon move, ever. Rob had no dragon types, and he had a fairy type. There was legitimate no reason for him to click a dragon move, but Thousand Arrows is the most spammable move in the game, hitting everything. Literally everything, except for Shedinja. So, why wouldn't you go into something else?
You never know sometimes, and I do like at pretty much the end of the match here, Rob basically needed to get desperate because all that's left is Magirna and Zapdos, of course, the two scariest mons on the team, pretty much. And
Megalopody's...
Well, true. Yeah, also Megalopunny and Meloetta, and oh my god.
And he picked up your Weezing.
But basically, at that point, either Alakazam was going to die. It might have had Focus... No, not even Focus Blast. Hidden Power Fire. It doesn't get, like, Fire Blast or anything, does it?
I don't think so.
It might.
That'd be hilarious.
Well, so he had to get desperate and kind of switch in, because if he killed Magirna with... It was... Dugtrio was banded, so if he killed Magirna with Earthquake, he had absolutely nothing that he could do to Zapdos. So he had to switch in there, and ate an Aura Sphere for it. M1, played it exactly as it needed to go, and then it was over. Then it was a good match. But next up, we've got, I think, probably the surprise of the weekend here, where Sneaky getting a fucking ace +4 against James here, where things started out a little... Very Jamesy, actually, is how I'll say things started out. With Silvally hitting Icy Wind. Icy Wind, Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
And then Explosion.
Yeah, that's a very James thing to do.
Zebstrika was going to do presumably a lot in that match too, because did you fucking...
Yeah.
He had like
3 water types and a flying type.
Yeah, the fuck is with that? Jesus. And, I mean, you can kind of cover it with Greninja a little bit, but still, like... I do like the use of Explosion in this week's matches in Mario's game with Garrison having Amok explode. And so again, Silvally with Explosion, not something you really expect.
No. Oh god, no. I have a quick question for you. Is
Please.
Sneaky from Canada?
He is. That's why he's Sneaky Canuck.
Okay. Just checking. Alright, cool. Also, when James switches in on the Lando with Supersonic Psy Strike, and then expects him to keep the Lando in against the Greninja that very clearly can have an ice move. What? What? What?
Sometimes you make that mistake. I don't know. That's the thing.
But Sneaky didn't leave the Lando in. He very obviously switched out into his one ice resist. Actually, one of his 2 ice resists. And on top of that, he probably could have even went into Blissey and tanked it. Why on earth would he stay in on that? I don't think he had to lose Blastoise. I think he very could have easily went Blissey. Because what is Greninja going to hit Blissey with?
That's true, actually.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It had
U-turn.
nothing. Yeah, right? Oh my god, U-turn. What is that, like 6% because I'm not a special or a physical attacker?
I think I might have to go back and look into this, but I think that this might be one of the biggest bounce back weeks where you lose +5 one week and then you win +4 the next week is a pretty fucking big difference. And
Ice Beam did 17% of Blissey. 17%. Can we talk about that?
Blissey's a fucking monster. What do you want?
I know. 17%. This man was fearing Sub-Zero.
Thankfully, you don't have to deal with Chansey or Blissey in your division.
Yeah. Those mons are god-awful.
But this is, I think it might be where Manny was saying a lot last week, where if you don't bring your threats, like he didn't bring Lando or Victini against Kyle, and you bring your threats this week, and look at what happens. You bomb one of what I would consider one of the more untouchable people in the league.
Oh yeah, James, when he actually tries, is absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
So kudos to Sneaky on that one here. Coming up next, a battle that went down to the literally the wire. Literally,
oh, yeah.
Michael Chiklis in the wire. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, your battle was wild.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, Michael Chiklis
wild.
was in the Shield.
Yeah.
My bad.
I have some insight on this match. So apparently, Murphy and Dan were talking about team building, and Dan was going to bring special Dhelmise, and Murphy told him,
why
don't ever do that in your entire life ever. And then Dan said, okay, and didn't bring it.
Why would he bring special Dhelmise?
Dude, I don't know. I don't want to know. I didn't ask.
I mean, Dhelmise can be pretty monstrous, as we saw from that battle here. And I know that in the calcing that I was doing for when Dhelmise did not die with the Dragon Pulse, leaving 1% left for Mega Sceptile, one thing I forgot about, and I think this fucked Mike against Dan last season, or Dan fucked himself with this last season, I had HP Fire on Mega Sceptile, which of course, Thomas, as you may know, you get 30 special attack IVs rather than 31. And if I had those 31 IVs, I might have been able to kill Dhelmise there, or at least have it be a higher percentage than it already was.
Yes.
So, kicking myself on that one a little bit, but it is what it is.
It's okay.
Same thing. So, we know that Rocky Helmet Rough Skin Garchomp is a fairly common Garchomp set.
Oh yeah, defense chomp. I love defense chomp.
Oh yeah. And then my poor Kling Klang. Poor Kling Klang. What the fuck? Taken 59%.
Oh yeah, that was absolutely nuts. That was absolutely disgusting.
On one fucking gear grind.
I don't even want to talk about that, to be honest with you. That shit was disgusting.
Can you imagine if anybody ever has a goddamn tail slap Chinchino or fucking Ambipom, just bring Rough Skin Rocky Helmet something, and then they're dead. They're immediately destroyed.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
So it comes down to, I made a few mistakes, definitely. I hit Whirlwind when I didn't need to. I should have just went for pure damage at that point, because I wasn't really running the Ironhead calcs until it was actually Stoutland's time. I was kind of just sitting back like, Stoutland's got Ironhead and the band. It'll be fucking fine. And then I see that it's like 39% max, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, Regirock is disgusting.
Is not small defense.
No, he's
no.
Big defense, boy.
And it comes down to the double protect at the end, where I'm on the edge of my goddamn seat. 50% chance, a literal coin flip. Is this Ironhead gonna hit, or is the protect gonna come up? And at 12:45 at night, I yelled, "No!" in my room because the protect goes up.
Oh my god, I'm out of nails. I'm using Rob's nails now. Quote Mike Mancini.
It was... It's a loss that honestly can't be mad about, because it
Oh
was
God, no.
down to the wire. But it was what it was. I'll kick back. Now is a good time to mention that Mike was actually the only person from Emerald to win any Conference Cup games
Nice.
this week. Yellow won 0 Conference Cup games.
Yeah, we didn't do so hot.
So Platinum kind of being super valuable, as Platinum tends to be here. Just a quick Conference Cup date here. 11 points to Platinum, 8 to Crystal, and 2 to Emerald. Thanks, Mike, for that. And that's not a... that's a legitimate thanks. Next up here... Oh, it's your battle. All right, so...
Yeah.
Thomas, why don't you take me through your battle versus Gage?
Alright, so my plan was that I was just going to Moxie Outrage through his entire team. Scarfed Moxie Outrage.
Okay.
But he clicked... When I thought he would click Focus Miss on Absol, he clicked Protect. Or he clicked Nasty Plot. And that is when, my friend, everything went downhill.
There was a lot of a lot of boosting in the match. I did notice that.
Yeah, from there on it was just no bueno. Now, I have 2 questionable things. Why would he leave in the Executor on Hitmonchan with Ice Punch? And 2, I totally forgot that Tornadus got Grass Knot. 100%. Because I was like, well, Icicle Crash does 96% to this thing, and he can't click, and he has to hit Focus Miss to kill me. So, YOLO. And then I should have just went for Ice Shard for damage, but I didn't. And then this Haluncha comes in.
I want to talk about Halucha real quick here, because you managed to... Because the one trepidation I almost always have with high jump kick is the fact that you lose 50% when...
You miss.
Yeah, when you miss. And he gets... That happens twice.
Yes.
And he has the 1% there, and I'm like, oh... So that's with, like, Seismic Toss and stuff, you make it so... And I don't know if this was by accident or what, but... You have the 1% there, so you don't fucking kill yourself with high jump kick.
Yeah. I accidentally ran the calc wrong with Salamence. Also.
Ooh.
Yeah. I thought that... I knew I wasn't faster, but I was like, oh, well, he can't kill me. It only does 60% with acrobatics at +2. No. Because he didn't have an item. Because I forgot. And then he killed me.
Oh, well, these are mistakes that end up being made, and I gotta ask, at 0-3, how you feeling right now?
Pretty rough. Pretty rough. I'm also kind of surprised that high jump kick killed my Hitmonchan.
I mean, Hitmonchan's not the most defensive boy in the world.
No, he's not, but that was HP and... That was...
Oh.
Yeah. It was HP and attack invested, so I was surprised.
Well, I mean, it's Halucha showing that it can be useful outside of the fucking electric terrain super plays, so everybody gotta be fucking careful of that. That's not nice.
That's fun to bring against Manny. Everybody against Manny, remember to bring your electric seeds to raise your special defense in the terrain.
Well, that's what happened to me with Murphy week 1, as he brought
man, it was great.
The Misty Seed on Togekiss.
I was like, me and Murphy were team building, and he was like, I don't have an item for Togekiss. I was like, I don't know. Scroll through all the items and just start saying shit, and I'll just say yes or no. And then he said Misty Seed, and I spit my drink out and went, yes, 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 yes. So... keep that in the back of your mind, people.
Next up, we got... actually, this is probably the biggest kickback, as I was talking about Sneaky before. Mitch losing +5 last week, winning +5 against Murphy this week because of... Now, Murphy had said in the battle itself here, well, not exactly because of, but one of the big factors in this match here. You, Murphy, and Dan were all just kind of like, yeah, knockoff shouldn't proc Unburden.
Yeah, it shouldn't. That's ridiculous. I call straight shenanigans on that.
The text for Unburden says, for if the item is consumed or lost.
Yeah.
So...
See, I didn't read... I didn't know it was consumed or lost. I thought it was just consumed.
Now you see in prepping, I believe I was helping Sneaky, or no, I'm sorry, I was helping M1 against Mitch last week here, and I was like, ooh, you better be careful not to hit Slurpuff with knockoff because it'll lose its item and then unburden procs, and you don't want that to happen. So I guess you could consider it a learning moment because that made it. I mean, Slurpuff didn't clean up there, but it was still something you don't want to be facing down unburdened Slurpuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Though, also fun, unburdened special Slurpuff, even though you can't click belly drum. People don't expect it, and you, big oof them.
Can be a good one. I gotta say as well, it's not nice seeing Alomomola and Chansey running roughshod again here. It's
oh my god,
not good at all.
I want to ban those two Pokemon from being on the same team. I'm over it, dude. Stall teams suck. Anybody else who drafts a stall team, we're all gonna come to your house and beat you up because you're a loser and you have no friends apparently.
So the thing with that,
I already got so mad at Kyle for it, and then I didn't even. I am pissed about this whole draft scene. This whole draft this season because I just didn't pay enough attention to it at all because I was so busy with like work and stuff. But so much BS got through.
There are these monstrous teams all over the place, and you're sitting here like, what the fuck?
Yeah, how did that happen? Like, for the record, I built my team when I was really baked, and I was like, this seems like a good idea. Let's try it.
You did take Simisage, what, fourth?
Yeah.
Fourth round?
Oh my god, yeah, and I took Ariados, like, third. No, I took Ariados fifth, I'm sorry. So, like, yeah, I don't know. Some of these things, I was kind of just like, this is a load of barnacles. So, yeah.
It could have been that you were in the draft mindset of, us having 20 people again, and 16 people gives, 40 more Pokemon available, 44 more Pokemon for the grabbing here, which allows for crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like Zapdos and Magearna on the same team.
Zapdos, Magearna, and Zydog on the same team. I'm aware of what the Zy line can do.
You won a championship with one.
I did. Coil, Dragon Dance, or no, I'm sorry, Coil Thousand Arrows, broken.
Ooh. And speaking of Kyle here, the final match, the rematch of the finals from last season here.
I like watching it.
At least this went better than the finals of last season.
Oh god, yes. I was actually not like throwing up watching this match. It was actually like even. There were some bonobo plays across the board. For those of you who don't know, bonobos are monkeys. It's a very common league thing to call somebody a bonobo. Not only is it disrespectful because you're calling them a monkey, but it's even more disrespectful because Night Blue, that's like his saying. He's calling people a bonobo, and nobody likes Night Blue. He's a big old bitch boy. So.
I'm learning all these league things. It's
yeah. So, no, they both played like bonobos. It was pretty funny, but like it was much better than Kyle just coming in and clicking Bisharp and laughing a lot.
I mean, a lot of this RNG was really cruel, especially cruel this week, I'd say.
Oh my
this
God.
match is a very good indicator because Tristan misses fucking 70% hurricanes in a row, which I know I'm pretty sure I've told the story before, Thomas. I missed fucking 6 hurricanes in a row in a random battle once, so it makes me very wary of hurricane because these things can happen.
Can we also talk about Tristan bringing frustration and not return? I like it. No, because he spiced it up. He took the time to put 0 happiness into his Pokemon. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna be honest. I think frustration is on the normal set on Smogon, because that's the... Because I had Snorlax last season, so there's a lot of me looking on Snorlax's Smogon page, and I feel like frustration is on the normal Snorlax set that is built.
It is.
Oh, there we go.
I just find it really funny, personally.
It is. No, it's nice that, again, everybody's so used to seeing return. Frustration is the fucking exact same move. Why not?
Yeah. It's the exact same move, but just opposite.
Not only that, didn't Kyle got like fucking 3 poisons off from poison jabs?
He got 1. I'm watching it right now. 1.
Okay. Like poison jab, is it 30%? Oh, it is 30%. So it's Scald strats. And because I would have been like, it's really terrible if that was 10%, but no, it's
30%.
At the very least 2. and it seems it's like a million because like, oh, normal poison's underrated. I think just because it does, it's a especially if your opponent is switching a lot, they take 6% from toxic and 12 from normal poison. So if your opponent's not staying in for the long haul, just one set of toxic spikes might make all the difference sometimes.
Oh well, yeah. I don't know why it clicks Earthquake against the Swampert.
Again, like you're saying, Bonobo, please, why not?
Yeah. and now Kyle's just spamming Earthquake on this Clefable.
As he sits there and Tristan softboils about 8 times.
Yeah, just clicks Moonlight.
Oh, Moonlight, excuse me.
Which, if Kyle had brought any type of weather, Moonlight would have been messed up, so I would not bring Moonlight.
No, because it does get soft-boiled, right?
Yeah, it does get soft-boiled.
Okay.
Which is just Moonlight, but better in every scenario. Yeah, he just threw away Diglett for no reason. I guess he wanted a clean switch into Roserade. But, like, I don't know. I would have sacked Bayonet and then went into my Roserade and then got my plus 2 still. Like, I would have went into Dugtrio, saw that Dugtrio was doing nothing. On the predictable Moonlight, went into Bayonet, clicked, I don't know, Will-O-Wisp, a very commonly brought Bayonet thing. I'm sorry, Bayonet. I'm adding an extra syllable. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Why?
Like you're talking about Bayonetta? No,
no.
Bennett didn't really even...
Bennett.
I don't think it showed up in the match, did it?
It didn't, not once. But if we go... Let me look here. Right? Let's go to Bayonet. Bayonet Mega. First of all, gets Prankster.
Yeah, Prankster Destiny Bond is the worst thing on the planet.
He could have Prankster disabled.
That would have been fun, too.
He could have Prankster Toxic. Prankster Willow. None of that. No. Why not? Why?
Hey, it's a win's a win at certain points. You always say that. So I think that.
I mean, I agree, but just.
Well, it's not the glamorous +6 that the championship was. I'm sure Kyle's fine with a +2.
Dude, he could have brought Prankster Snatch and stolen the Moonlight. That would have been the OP strat. Click Willow and then Snatch Moonlight. Ooh!
Doesn't Snatch work like that normally, though? Doesn't it have, like, normal priority plus if they're going to be doing a non-attacking move?
I don't know if Snatch has priority. It might, but, like, this is guaranteed priority.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's a status move. And Prankster. I'm just saying, Kyle played well because he's Kyle, but, like, there's just... I mean, everybody does it. You get into the heat of a battle, and you're like, but there's very obviously better plays that you could have made. It happens to everybody.
Exactly. Like I said, I hit 2 whirlwinds when I didn't need to because I was like, I don't want to deal with this shit right now.
Yeah, you could have just clicked EQ. Like, there's so many things.
Yeah. Well, let's move here to some trades and pickups, and this might actually be a long segment this week, given the fact that there are actually some fucking trades and pickups here. So
yeah, I did that thing again. So
you didn't go full tilt. You do have one left, but still. Let's start with yours, actually, here. So you're doing a bit of a team upheaval here because of the fact that, I don't know, was everything kind of slow? Were you just not getting the output that you needed?
So, I made my team slightly incapacitated.
Little baked, yeah, like you said.
Not a lot, but we're just gonna say a little for the
smidge.
We're gonna say a little for the kids out there.
A teens.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, if I make this team, nobody's gonna snipe me. Cause I don't know about you, but getting sniped is literally the worst thing on the face of the human planet. I hate getting sniped. It makes me so upset. Right? So I was like, if I draft this team, nobody's gonna snipe me, cause these mons are ridiculous. And then I haven't been able to use them because there's been no reason to.
I mean, you had Heatran pretty late, right? Oh no, I'm sorry, that was actually your first round pick, so never mind.
Yeah, I like Heatran, but it's in a weird spot that I didn't know what it would be like until, because I've never used it in like a draft league before, or even like regular competitive, like just playing Showdown for fun, like in my free time. I've never used the Heatran before. So I wanted to give it a shot. That's what I've been doing for the past 2 seasons, is just giving stuff a shot. Like, I've never used Lopunny before. Never used Heatran before. Never used Mega Absol before. I don't really use Vaporeon that much. I've never used Mimikyu.
And I'm assuming they've been a little underwhelming, the ones that you switched out at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that this was a better switch up for my team. Dropping Heatran. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Heatran's awesome. But, I don't know. Because, like, my thought process was like, well, Heatran solves 2 cores. But it's not Tapu Fini.
No.
Tapu Fini is the only Pokemon that definitively fits 2 cores, in my opinion.
It doesn't carry an extremely common 4x weakness either.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't.
You dropped Heatran for Mega Sableye. Fuck you. Give me some of the insight on Mega Sableye. Is this also kind of giving it a shot?
It's a combination of giving it a shot, and I noticed that my team, not very bulky. There was not enough oomph to my team, I thought. So I decided to bring some oomph.
That might do it. Sableye definitely brings that. And along with Magic Bounce, you could just start doing shit in people's faces and daring the, okay, do rocks, do toxic, motherfucker. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Absol's a little too frail for that. I had to play, because I'd have to play a little too smart with Absol, where with Sableye I can get away with a little more shenanigans. With
basically, all the Magic Bouncers other than Mega Absol feel like they can stay in on a lot of stuff. While Mega Absol, you almost need to kind of like with Flash Fire, you got to kind of like predict a switch into something like that, and that's no fun.
Yeah, it was a little too much. And then I dropped Mega Absol, obviously, because I picked up Mega Sableye, and I lost a Fire type, so I picked up Volcarona.
Which I think is a good pick, because Volcarona has not done much through the seasons here. Again, Trevor had him last season and never used him, so please do something with Volcarona, because it's one of those things where...
we could talk about Volcarona right now, if you want, why I picked up Volcarona. Because if we go to the team builder, right, and we're going to go with the moves... We're going to go with Bug, Fire, Flying, Psychic. Yeah.
4x weak to rocks.
Well, yeah, but that's what Magic Bounce is for, and Defog on Salamence, and Defog, and, Defog on something else I can't remember right now.
That is also good for the Magic Bounce, given the fact that... rocks will ruin Volcarona's day, but if you are, as long as you get a QD off, you are pretty much guaranteed to blow something up.
Yeah. Yes, I am. Because it's special defense, honestly, ain't nothing to fuck with. At 105, it's pretty good. And I click Quiver Dance once, and then click Fiery Dance, and I'm now at +2, +1, +1. And then I can click +2, +1, +1, Supersonic Psystrike. Or Shattered Psyche. Or Spin Out Savage.
Please. And then you dropped Diancie, who I like normal Diancie, not a ton. I definitely like Bronzong better, what you picked up here.
Yeah, I wanted to try out Diancie because I needed a fairy type, and I realized I didn't have one. And then I ended up picking up Mimikyu, and I was like, well, Diancie just seems underwhelming with a quad weakness to Steel. And everybody and their mother being like, I need a Steel type, so...
Yeah, being a little superfluous at that point. And Bronzong has Psychic and Steel, the Metagross typing, which is also great. I do like that the mere fact that you have Levitate as an option means you don't necessarily need to run it.
Yeah.
Because I think it might have been either Murphy or Dan had Bronzong last season, and didn't put Levitate on it. Now it's one of those things where, no, I'm sorry, it doesn't show that you're levitating unless you hit a ground move, right? It doesn't just automatically say that you're levitating. There you go. So I like that a lot, that you can bring Heat Proof or something like that, and then suddenly a fucking Fire Blast does like 45% damage, and it's like, what happened?
It does even
what
less
happened?
Than that. It'll probably do 30, because it's got 116 in special defense and defense.
There you go.
So it's kind of spicy in that respect. Also, this gives me another rocker, because I lost a rocker. I lost 2 rockers, actually, so this gives me another rocker again. So my total's back up to 3.
Fucking John Rocker over here, yeah. Jesus. And then one that made me sad. Ariados being dropped for Beheeyem.
Yeah. I didn't see the need for Ariados anymore. and I was just looking through the list, and I saw this thing. And I feel like me and you specifically have had this conversation before about this Pokemon. I want to give it its, hopefully its 5 minutes of fame.
It's one of those things where I believe it will be able to win you a match because of the fact that Pokemon with one big stat in Tier 5 are very important, which is why Regice got moved up, because 200 Special D is worth more than 40 points. Beheeyem has, what, 125 Special Attack?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Tier 5. So if you do something stupid like, I'm sure Bronzong can set up Trick Room, more than likely.
Yes.
If you do that shit, and then Beheeyem comes in and it's spexed for whatever reason, and there's nothing to stop it from hitting Psychic, then nobody's going to have a good time.
Yeah, I could actually bring a whole Trick Room team now looking at it.
I'm sure, I mean, you probably, because Sableye could probably do it too,
Sableye,
I would assume.
Yes. I don't know if Sableye gets Trick Room.
Well, Prankster Trick Room would be awful, so maybe
well,
not.
I mean, yeah. Oh my god, that'd be terrifying. No, it doesn't.
Okay,
but
very
it gets
good, thank
Wonder
goodness.
Room.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Alright. Yeah, no, never mind, actually. I was going to say something, but I decided against it.
Alright. So those are some pretty good changes, and you didn't go full tilt this time. Like I said, you got one left. So
yeah, which I might be using next week. Awkward.
Kudos.
Awkward.
Some other changes that we had here. M1 dropped Jellicent for Blastoise because M1 was telling me it's the problem that I had with Empoleon last season, where a defensive water type, you want it to be able to take hits, and then you find that, like, well, this other weakness or this other typing brings forth some pretty unfortunate weaknesses. Jellicent, in the case of Jellicent, it's knockoff, where knockoff is prevalent, and it's not going to stop other ghost types a lot of the time. So he went for normal Blastoise. It gives him, he's got fucking like 3 spinners now, and normal Blastoise it can be pretty good.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been a big fan of regular Blastoise. You can run like a really bulky set, some other cheeky stuff with it. I mean, it gets all the moves that Mega Blastoise gets, so that's Dark Pulse, that's Aura Sphere, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
So,
that's the thing, you just won't get the Mega Launcher bonus, which sometimes that won't matter.
Yeah, like, that. If you want to make this Pokemon defensive, you don't need the damage. You just want the bulk, exactly. And you have that bulk now, but you also have some pretty dumb stuff in this form of Aura Sphere. Like, that's a 90 base special move that never misses.
Yeah, that's always helpful.
That's chip. That's like...
Exactly, that's the thing.
That's some great chip.
It's something to deal with some of those, other nasty... Well, not deal with necessarily other nasty water types, but that's the only thing, is I feel like in terms of dealing with other bulky water types, Blastoise might be... I think it gets Dragon Tail, so fuck it. No, now you could get out of here. Leave.
Oh, yeah. It gets Dragon Tail.
So there we go. If anything comes in on it, it's like, yeah, well, I'm going to wall you, motherfucker. Like, no, now you're going to leave.
Does it get rocks?
I don't think so.
That'd be ridiculous.
Can you imagine Blastoise shooting... Gastrodon doesn't get rocks. That would be really ridiculous.
Oh, my God. Hey, man, you could shoot some crazy stuff out of a cannon. That's all I got to say.
Stones.
Dude, stones. Dark energy. Aura.
So we also have here Kyle dropping Noivern. Originally, I don't think I told you this, Thomas, he was going to drop it for Bronzong, yeah, but you scooped it out from under him, because the rare time that the person with the worst record automatically gets the trade-in being exercised here. Getting Beware. I don't believe we've seen Beware yet, but it is the face of his team.
Oh, so... I love Beware. I love that Pokemon so much. I've talked about making sets for that Pokemon since it came out. I love its design concept.
I'm very curious to see where it goes.
Dude, watch out for Choice Banded Beware. Thing hits like a train. A train.
Normal fighting ain't nothing to fuck with.
Dude, it's just gonna click, like... It's gonna click superpower and just blow somebody away. And they're just gonna be dumbfounded, and it's gonna be great. I'm so excited. It's gonna choice band superpower in something's face, because someone's gonna be like, Beware, who cares? And it's just gonna get rocked. And I'm super excited for it.
And then we had some bigger moves of the week here. James making a few changes, trading out Amoonguss for Espeon.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Another magic bounce person. I feel like this may have been a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, possibly, because Amoonguss didn't do a ton in the match against Sneaky in very special circumstances where all he needed to do was let Blissey get spored and then switch out. But, I mean, Espeon, I had for a little while. I didn't like it necessarily last season. It was okay.
Oh, I love Espeon. I've had I think I've had an evolution every single season, and I've enjoyed all of them.
It can do work. He also drops Talonflame for Raichu, which is weird, because normal Raichu is not a Pokemon that I consider... I mean, I guess all of the good electric types are gone in Tier 5.
That is a VGC strat if I have ever seen it. I'm not... You laugh, but that's a VGC thing right there. Go look in VGC, Raichu. And Raichu's rampant.
Gee, all right. Well,
go take a look.
We'll see how it fares in singles competition.
Yeah, dude, you can do some pretty silly stuff, because I'm pretty sure it gets electric terrain and stuff, so you can set it up for other mons besides Coco, and like gets Fake Out, and it gets Volt Switch, and it gets some other cool stuff. I think it gets Focus Miss and
So
Surf.
basically, it's right up James's alley because it can do stupid shit.
Oh yeah, it's done some dumb. If we want to take a look here. Let's go look at Raichu really quick. First of all, it has Lightning Rod.
Also good to have an immunity.
It has Brick Break. It has E-Speed, it has Endeavor. It has Fake Out, it has Focus Miss. It has Focus Punch, it has Knock Off.
Nasty Plot sets.
Yeah, it's got Quick Attack. Seismic Toss, Signal Beam. It does have Surf. It has
Screens.
Yeah, it has Volt Tackle, it has Volt Switch. It has Wish. There's some dumb sets, because this Pokemon is the face and should not have been the face of Pokemon. It gets some dumb stuff. It gets Fly. It gets Heart Stamp. Can we talk about that? It gets Physical Heart Stamp.
Heart
Stamp is a 60 base physical psychic move that has a 30% chance of flinching.
Oh.
It's one of Jirachi's original moves.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dumb.
I was not aware. Ooh, Jinx gets it too with its fucking 50 base attack. Nice, wonderful.
Oof. Now, I mean, Raichu's attack is base 90. Its special attack's also base 90. So that's why
you can move it around if you want.
That's what I'm saying. This is a very James Pokemon. It has Teeter Dance. Ugh. I could just only imagine
what he's gonna do with this thing.
It gets Rollout. Reversal, Present. Dude, it's because I swear to God, it is because it is the face of Pokemon. It just gets random moves that nobody's gonna.
So why weren't you able to do cool shit with Alolan Raichu last season?
Because I don't think it got the same moves.
It seems weird, but okay.
Wait, I mean. Because Alolan Raichu has 95 special attack and 85 attack. It does have the same moves, but it also depends on your matchup.
That's true.
It's heavily based off of your matchup.
I feel like a lot of times James will prepare regardless of the matchup because the shit is so stupid.
Well, yeah.
Like,
also,
James, you're not going to expect
James just thinks in a way that most human beings don't. So it's
right. He's on a higher plane.
He's on a higher plane of existence.
All right, and finally we have Rob making some moves as well here. Trading out Magneton. I'm not happy about that, really, for Aggron. I don't know if he needed some more physical defense there. Magneton would have... Mike's really happy because now he doesn't have to fucking deal with Magnet Pull, which is initially what he was a little scared about. But Aggron's in, so big defense boy. Furret's out, unfortunately, for the very interesting pick of Vespiquen.
Yeah.
I want to see what that thing can do.
If he doesn't bring like attack order, defend order, heal order, U-turn, like, are you even playing Vespiquen right? I have no clue what this thing does. I think it gets Ancient Power. I know it gets those 3 moves I just mentioned. I know it gets U-turn. I think it gets Hurricane maybe, but I doubt it. It gets like Air Cutter. It gets Leech Life, I think.
I feel like a lot of... no, it doesn't. No, wait, I'm sorry, I'm looking in the wrong spot. No, it doesn't get Hurricane. What the fuck? I know a lot of stupid stuff gets Hurricane, like Moltres.
That makes a little more sense.
Well, why don't Articuno or... Well, actually, Articuno... Why doesn't Zapdos have Hurricane? That's my question.
That'd be broken.
I would be, you're right. Still makes me mad.
Nope, it would be broken. Gets Power Gem. It doesn't get... I'm sorry, it doesn't get Ancient Power. It gets Power Gem. That's the move I was thinking of.
Also good.
Yeah. This Pokemon is interesting. It's beefy boy, kinda. It's decent beef. It's not big beef. I dare say it's little beef.
Bug's not the best defensive type, but you know.
No, but a 102 is not too shabby.
It's not small. Yeah.
It's not too shabby.
And finally, he dropped Curem as a Z Captain for Zoroark here, where Z Captain Zoroark is actually giving me making me a little scared. I'll be honest.
Well, I mean, let's talk about it.
Well, we all know the power of Zoroark, where it can use that disguise to show off as something else. So you disguise it as he's got Alakazam on his team there. So, and it's one of those things where Zoroark being sort of the same kind of glass cannon that Alakazam is, it can do things like throw out a fucking Dark Pulse or a Flamethrower, where if you're not paying attention, you might still think it's Alakazam.
Yeah. So we have Dark Pulse, we have Dark Psychic, Fire, Fighting, Grass, Ghost.
That too, it's got the fucking bevy of available options for what Z move it wants to bring.
You can say normal, but I don't know why you would. And, I mean, you could get away with a physical set too. Keyword is could. Should is the bigger question.
I feel like because Curem
and
is
poison.
more...
It also gets Sludge Bomb.
Yeah,
so.
Curem is a Pokemon that is deceptively bulky. Less, I think, because of its typing, it ends up being a little less bulky than it needs to because of how many weaknesses Ice and Dragon sort of have together. But Curem is a Pokemon that I feel like I was going to bat for Curem not being 100 points a while ago, but I feel like it's good where it is because it's even with like 97 speed or whatever it has, it ends up being just a little too underwhelming.
I agree. But
it can do work. I know that Manny said one of his bigger regrets last season was getting rid of Haxorus for Curem because of the fact that he needed fucking wall breakers for Kyle, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but I also think that Curem did well for him last season, so that's a hard call to make.
It did. It can do work. I think Zoroark is definitely somebody grabbing it at the new price point also tells me that people still want Zoroark, which is good.
Oh yeah.
So it's always nice to be validated, I guess, in terms of when this shit comes up.
Yes.
So let's go right on to Commish Picks here. It is week 4, Thomas. Manny is sick, so he didn't put in Commish Picks, so I had Mario pick again. So, first of all, last week here, with the shit show picks from everybody having to pick a plus, Manny and I went 2 and 6, Mario went 1 and 7. Because those pluses really kill you, especially when... I mean, most of them we were just wrong, because of the fact that there were so many upsets last week, too.
Yes.
But this week, coming in here, we have... First off, it is Tristan versus yourself, Thomas. I have you on this one.
I have myself as well. I think with my updated team, I might be able to actually do something.
Mario told me specifically, because he has Tristan +2 on this one, he says, Thomas, you gotta get your shit together. And that is why he is choosing Tristan.
I'll remember that.
And the rest of these are, honestly, it's a little boring. They're all sweeps here, so...
Well, wait a second. We got, at the end here, we got a little different.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, it actually does look a little different. The Oreo cream part are all sort of sweeps here. So James versus Garrison, all of us went James on this one. I feel like Garrison does have a decent chance to also pull out something crazy on this.
I think this is going to be one of the most interesting matches to watch. Because when Garrison's on, it's pretty wild. He pulls out some garbage, some absolute filth, like Explosion Muck, that nobody would expect. But at the same token, James brought Throat Chop to combat Boom Burst Swallow.
So he knows what he's doing.
I
Probably better than...
When that happened a couple seasons ago, I guarantee you, everybody watching the match, including the participants being Manny and James, maybe not James, stopped what they were doing, clicked a new tab, and automatically typed in, "What the fuck is throat chop?" Because I know all the spectators did. Because I was in Discord with half of them.
That's the thing, is I feel like maybe it's because he's a VGC boy now at this point, but he's got all these strats that we just don't know about.
Yes. It's terrifying.
Next, we've got Manny taking on Mitch here, with all of us choosing Manny. Mitch does have a crazy team, and I actually would like to see what happens if Manny falls prey to the same shit that made him lose to Kyle last season here. Sort of again falling into the trap of not preparing enough for it, maybe taking Mitch a little lightly. But I don't think that's going to happen. I got Manny +2 on this one, actually.
Fool me once, shame on me. Oh, I'm sorry. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking Manny, like, it's very similar to Manny's fear of Metagross. He fears Alomomola Chansey. Those 3 Pokemon give him nightmares.
This will see if he grows as a trainer here. If he does what he needs to just smack him up.
That epic anime transition that we all hope for in our lives. Let's see if Manny's got it. Maybe now his wife will whip him into shape. Be like, "You lost to it last time, don't lose to it now." She probably actually just calls him a nerd and walks away. That'd be my guess as to what happens in the Manny household.
Next up, we got M1 taking on Dan here. All of us grabbed M1 on this one, surprisingly for you, Thomas, because you have M1 +2 here. So after Dan's pretty high roll and win, you think he's just gonna get smacked back down again?
Well, I think there was so much bullshit RNG in your match that, like, did Dan actually win, or did you just lose?
I mean, I could say for certain that I lost, but I still think that, on the records will show that Dan won that match.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Did you actually lose, or did Dan actually win? You actually lost.
It was a coin flip. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying. There was... Yeah.
Next, we got Mike taking on Murphy here. All of us taking Mike, and I think that this might be the first time that this has happened again. So it is back on the table here now. If Mike loses here, we cannot pick him for the rest of the season.
I thought he has to lose multiple times in a row.
Fuck it. No, we all picked him. This is how we treated it last time. He won the first week when we all picked him. Then he had me, and then he had Manny, so he was in fucking rough order. But
I forgot about that.
So he's coming off of 2 weeks of Commish battling 1-1. He's going into it with momentum. If he loses to Murphy, it's going to be a little rough, I think, and we can't pick him for the rest of the season.
All right, agreed. Well, when you put it that way, I mean.
Then we've got here myself versus Rob. Everybody taking me on this one. I feel like Rob does need to step his game up a bit this season from what he's been doing so far. Both you and Rob, as the only 0-3s left, I believe. So you gotta do something, but it ain't gonna be against me, Rob. I'm sorry.
My thing with Rob is that he has really interesting ideas.
Do you want to say that without yawning?
Yeah. Alright, so the thing about Rob with me is that he has really interesting ideas, but they're like cutesy interesting and not like serious interesting. Like, that's just Rob as a person. Like, I'm gonna play Gravekeepers like way back before they brought new Gravekeepers into the game. You know what I mean? Like, that's just his style. Like, I'm gonna play Yugi.deck.
It's sort of at the cost of better strategies, I think, is the problem. It's a weird thing where James can bring something wild, but also kind of do something consistently good with his other mons, where...
Well, he brings something
wild
wild that does, like, that's good.
Right, that too, of course.
You know what? No, but like, Rob just brings something wild. James brings a wild tech that'll actually benefit him in his match, or Rob just tries to do something wild for the fun of it. You know what I'm saying?
Next, we've got here Kyle taking on Gage. All of us picking Kyle on this one, though I think Gage has been playing well in the first 2 weeks here of his return, since his return, I guess I should say. And I think that it might be a bit tougher of a fight for Kyle than we might be given credit for.
I think Gage has definitely improved as a player. But I don't know. I think Kyle is just a little too smart.
Definitely. And the final match of the week here. So if you notice, you picked Mario, I picked Mario, and Mario picked Sneaky.
Mario doesn't like to vote against himself, or vote with himself, does he?
He did pick Garrison last week. So, I mean, it's a good thing to be afraid of because, again, Blissey, scary. Lando, scary. Victini, it's a little tough to tell what it's going to be. It's all things that can be very troublesome for any team, really, and he has to I think he has to do some fucking magic hat some shit to get the win here, but I think that Mario's got tenure. I'm kind of basing this off of, Sneaky's new, he's just in the season here. I think that, now, then again, this happened last season with M1, where I was almost certain that M1 was going to get stomped by Mario, and then, like, week 2 of last season, M1 gets the win, and it was genuinely surprising.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Mario's team is just kind of dirty this season. Scissor, Gengar, Haxorus, Breloom. That core is terrifying. And then Electrotross has been putting in work.
It's all at value, too. This is, I feel like he might be trying to make us move some stuff back up because of how... and look, he's the only person that's still undefeated, so maybe that says something.
Yeah. I like when people try to move things up.
I think that's the core of the league. That's what you need to do. That's, You
need to just pick something, something bonkers and spook everybody. Because I feel like that's how you get stuff done in this league.
It's what my Kling Clang pick was, essentially. It was just because I know that this thing, as a pure steel type with shift gear and, 100 attack, which is whatever, and pretty decent defense, you can actually do some dirty things with it. And I hope to do more, but right now I'm not really showing much of it.
Yeah, I really like Kling Clang as a Pokemon, too. I use it in a lot of, cartridge teams.
But with that here, the Commish Picks have finished up, and Thomas, I gotta ask, going into week 4 here, this is the last week of, the first matches against the opponents here. It's rematches after this. It's the weeks before the bye weeks. The week before the bye weeks, for some of us at least. Is this the most important week of the season?
Of course.
It's gotta be.
Of course.
It has to be. That's the thing, is you want to go into your rematches with a strong finish. You want to see how you stack up against all of your peers in your division here. You've got 2 more Conference Cups ahead of you. I think that this is a crucial week of the season here, and with that, I think we need to kind of close the book on this one. And before we go into week 4, do you have any final thoughts, any words of encouragement, perhaps?
Shout out to Mario and the Tech Protect concept. Also,
the Protect Tech.
Yes. Don't be afraid to just Tech Protect. Also, I am telling you, Scarf status moves are a thing. Please. I had defog on my Salamence for the longest time, and then took it off because I didn't think I was gonna need it. And then I don't think I did need it, or I might have, but it doesn't really make a difference. I'm just saying, it's Scarf defog and Scarf toxic, it's good. Scarf rocks, it's good. People don't expect it. Why would they?
I agree. I think it's a good play to make. And so that's something for everybody to ponder here. And I think then, as I said, we'll close the door, close the book, all that normal shit that I say on this one here. So as we go into week 4 here, everybody, make sure you have yourselves a dandy old time for Inside the PFL. I am Joe.
It's your boy Thomas back in action.
And everybody here, get a win, Thomas.
I'm trying.
And have fun.